Now that we have our game set up, let's do our trick-or-treating basics. So we move our characters trick-or-treating into the neighborhood. 4, you don't need an exact number to land on a house. As long as you can reach the doorstep, you can trick-or-treat. Oh, out of candy. So what happens when this goes into play is we take the out of candy sign and place it on the house. Wah, wah. So now we move our werewolf. Werewolf, she's gonna go to the house and spin at the trick-or-treat spinner. She has 2 candies. So you'll take 2 candies from the pumpkin, place them in front of your character, and then take a matching token to place on the house. This indicates she has received candy from this house and cannot return there. This counts as 1 point, plus her 2 candies gives her a total of 3. Now let's say we are having another character come, and let's say along comes our vampire, and he makes it to the house to trick-or-treat, but he gets no one's home, or he gets out of candy. Simply take the sign from whatever house it's on and place it on the house that just received the notice. And now the house that had the sign is available to trick-or-treat. So which, on her next turn, if she hasn't left a token here, she can return and trick-or-treat. If you get spin again on the spinner, you simply move over to the full moon track and shift the Banshee 1 space. And if you get spin again multiple times, you would just return and continue moving her along. Eventually, when she reaches this full moon, she sends out the yellow ghost, and the yellow ghost will enter the game by landing here on the yellow matching stone. If she moves again, she would move the 3rd ghost into the game, who would start here. And that is how the full moon track works. If she makes it to the last space, the Banshee enters the game through the haunted house. And now that we're done trick-or-treating in the safe neighborhood, it's time to make our way into the haunted neighborhood. And to do so, you must go through the graveyard, through the crumbled wall. And so you simply roll the die and move your character. Mommy goes 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as you enter the graveyard, you trigger the ghost. And now you will always roll a ghost on your turn. Ghost moves 2, starts on the green square, the green stone, 1, 2. And now we'll have vampire move in the game, which is going to get a 3, and move the ghost. Ghost moves 2. So ghost is going to land on ghost extra turn, which means the ghost who lands there rolls and moves 1 more time. So now we're going to have werewolf enter the game and move the ghost. Ghost gets a 3, 1, 2, 3. So werewolf gets to choose where she wants to portal the ghost, because the ghost has landed on a portal symbol. And there are 3 choices on the board. So she will send the ghost over near the haunted house. And play continues. You move your character, and then you move the ghost for the rest of the game. 1, 2, 3. And that is how you move about the haunted neighborhood. Next, we're going to cover visiting the haunted house. So when you arrive at the haunted house, first thing you'll do is take a glow stick, and this protects you from 1 ghost attack. Then you place your player token to show that you've been to the house. You can only visit once. Lastly, you roll the haunted house die. If you get boost, you get to take an extra boost token, even if you already had 2. And if there's none left at the haunted house, you can simply reuse one that you have. You might also get 1 candy and extra roll, which means roll the pumpkin die and move your character extra turn. You might get 3 candies, 2 candies, or you might even get boo, which means you are scared, you drop a candy, and you run 2 spaces away from the haunted house. And the candy that you drop can be picked up by the next player. And the last item is the ghost portal. You are sent away, banished from the haunted house, and the player to your right chooses which portal that you get sent to. And that is the haunted house. How to take candy from other players. So if ghost number 1 reaches Black Cat's space, ghost will take 1 candy from the Black Cat and place it in the candy coffin. So Black Cat has to put 1 of her candies in the candy coffin, and ghost resets here. Now, if that had been ghost number 3, ghost number 3 reaches Black Cat would have to give 3 candies and place them in the candy coffin. and ghost resets here. Now, let's say there had been 2 characters here. The ghost would take 3 candies from each player and place them in the candy coffin for a total of 6. And another thing about our graveyard here are these hollowed ground spaces. Ghosts cannot take any candy from you if they reach where you are and you're sharing a space. You can share spaces, but they cannot take your candy. And on the footpath, ghosts cannot follow you into the footpath. Ooh, raiding the candy coffin. There's 2 ways to raid the candy coffin. One is to take the footpath that leads from the center of the graveyard. It's a move of 3, and once you reach the candy coffin, you must roll the ghost die. If you get a ghost symbol, this one here, the 1, a ghost catches you and you may take 1 candy before it whisks you away to the ghost portal. And if you succeed and take all the candy, hooray, ghost doesn't catch you. Now on somebody else's subsequent turn, more candy might get dropped into the candy coffin. And if that happens, you may not take it. You must actually return to the center of the graveyard before you can return to raid the candy coffin. Now, if you're playing with little children and they reach the candy coffin, they don't have to roll this dice. They just get all the candy. Woohoo! And then the second way to reach the candy coffin, you happen to have this lovely boost token, raid coffin, and see that your friend's on the way to get the candy. At the beginning or end of your turn, you may play the raid coffin and you jump to the coffin and you take all of the candy. You do not have to roll the dice with the boost token. And so that is the second way you can raid the candy coffin. Next, we're going to cover how to get a boost token. And so boost tokens are placed on houses, and when you visit, if you haven't already chosen your 2 per game, you simply pick it up, see what your boost is, and place it aside. Then you would trick or treat and place your player token on the house if you get candy. The other way to get a boost token is at the haunted house. If you get boost, the dice, you'd simply take one of the boost tokens that are placed at the back of the haunted house, and if they've run out, you can reuse any of the boosts that you've already played or that you still have. Use 1 portal boost token. So if you end your turn, let's say Mummy gets a 2 and ends his turn on this portal, he can drop this token and he can now use the ghost portal. And so he can go to any portal that he wishes on the game board. And that is how you use 1 portal. It's an option. Sometimes we like to make it so that you can use that multiple times through the game, the boost power, whoever holds it. It's just a house call, up to you. Banish 1 ghost. Boost. This can be used to banish ghost number 2 or ghost number 3 from the game. Ghost number 1 is permanently in the game and it has no effect on the Banshee. So let's say Frankenstein is trying to head out of the graveyard, but there's a ghost gauntlet ahead of him. If he chooses to move number 3 off the board, he now has a clear path out of the graveyard with a nice roll of 4, and he can clear and make it safely out of the graveyard. How to use the token web. Web, you play it, so let's say werewolf plays it on witch. Witch is frozen in place. She's stuck in a web for 1 turn. So she misses a turn, which will most likely end in the ghost reaching her and taking candy. Friendly ghost boost. How friendly ghost works is anytime the ghost reaches a character on anybody's turn, you simply play your boost token, friendly ghost, and the ghost brings the candy to you instead of the candy coffin. And if you are so lucky that there are 2 players in the space when the ghost gets them, instead of bringing 2 per player to the candy coffin, the ghost will bring 2 per player to you. Switch witch. So to play this boost token, the witch here is looking very trapped by these ghosts. So she on her turn, at the beginning or end of her turn, can play switch witch. And then she chooses anybody on the board to switch places with. So since she was webbed by werewolf in my last little thing, she's going to change places with werewolf. And so if that was the beginning of her turn, the witch can now take her turn to roll the pumpkin die and move. It was at the end of her turn, she's done, and she now moves a ghost. So she could effectively move a ghost, number 3, and get werewolf at the same time. Ignore signs. So this boost token can be used in two different ways. One is if you're going by a house that has a sign that says no one's home, you are allowed to trick or treat as long as you play your ignore signs. You play that and you can trick or treat at this house. Now another way to do it is if you're at a house trick or treating and on the spinner she gets no one's home or she gets out of candy, she can play her boost token and she can trick or treat until she receives candy. Now, one optional way, this is a house variant, is to have this sign be used multiple times through the game. But that is just up to you as players. Ooh, be gone token. If the Banshee's going to get you and your friend sends the Banshee after you, you simply play Boo Be Gone, and she has no effect on you until the next round. So the next person can't then go ahead and get you, but you are protected from her for one round. Revisit one house, boost token. So if Mommy has already been to this house and he has revisit one house, he can play it and roll the dice, come to the house and trick or treat all over again. But you do not place another token there. You just get to get candy twice. Ride home, boost token. This allows you to go home straight away once it's played. Say if the Banshee is after you and you've got the ghost and you're ready to head home, you play this token and you immediately jump to the start position and shout bedtime. Now you can only use the token as long as you've met the requirements. So if you've established that you have to do 6 houses in the haunted neighborhood, then you can use the token, or if someone said 4 houses before you can go home, as long as that requirement's been met, you can use this token and get home and call bedtime. And now it's time to finish the trick-or-treat game. So once somebody has managed to trick-or-treat successfully at 6 of the houses in the haunted neighborhood, you're allowed to go home. And to do so, simply come back the way you came into the safe neighborhood through the crumbled wall. And once you reach the starting area, you call bedtime, and everyone gets one last turn. Now a variant of this is to designate this as the area to reach to call bedtime. It depends on the player. Sometimes people haven't trick-or-treated both houses in the first neighborhood, and so it's up to them if they want to stop right here and call bedtime or return home and trick-or-treat a few more times. And I wanted to share some other ideas of ways to use boost to your advantage. If there is a ghost gauntlet in front of you, as you see here, you could play banish one ghost and remove one ghost from the gauntlet and hope that you roll a 3 to escape the gauntlet. Or another way out of the mess is if you have the lovely token ride home. When you play ride home, as you know, you go back to the start immediately and you call bedtime. Everyone gets one last turn. And let's say our little friend here has made it to this part of the neighborhood and she's heading home. If you are in the other part of the neighborhood and you happen to have Switch Witch, you can play Switch Witch and take Mummy and switch places with the cat and effectively jump the line. And that is just some tips that we've learned along the way. Now that we're done trick-or-treating, it's time to count our points. Before you start, first set aside any unused player tokens. Then you will count your player tokens on the houses that are around the board. 1 point per token on each house that you've trick-or-treated. Then you will add up all of your candy points, 1 point per candy, and add to that any unused glow sticks. If you happen to have the boost power glow stick, this counts as a glow stick point if it's unused as well. If there is a tie after you've added up all your points, the tie goes to the person with the most candy, and if there's still a tie, it would go to the person who was home first within the tie. And that is how you add up all of the candy points and token points. There's another option using our secret Candy Quest tokens, and these are used at the very end of the game. Have everybody draw one, and that becomes their character's favorite candy for the game. And for each pair of these that you have, you will score an extra point. So my character would get an extra 2 points for having the peanut butter cups. And one other way to do this is at the start of the game, you choose one token, keep it hidden, and you hide it at the Banshee's house. And that becomes the Banshee's favorite candy. And at the end of the game, after everybody's added up their points, you reveal what this candy is, and everybody scores 1 extra point for every 2 gummy worms that they have. And that is a way to use the Secret Candy Quest tokens as the Banshee's favorite candy. Our monster tokens, or tombstone tokens as I like to call them, are a way to change the way you use a full moon track. So you actually would remove the full moon track and just set aside the ghost and the banshee. And then you would flip these over and mix them up and place them at random on the tombstones in the graveyard. And that way you've taken the game strictly into the graveyard. I'm missing some of my prototype pieces, but for demonstration purposes, anytime you get spin again on the spinner, instead of moving the banshee, you get to pick up and dig up 1 grave. So I would pick this one up and I get move 1 ghost. So I would go to the game board and take any ghost I'd like and move it to any portal I choose. There we go. And so on and so forth. So if you get spin again, you would flip one over and I get the same token. Or I could flip this one and ghost number 2 comes in the game, and then ghost number 3. Another way to play with them is for anybody who bought our tombstones, these tombstones here, in the base you'll see there's a slot. And so these tombstone tokens fit in, so you would, instead of placing them on the tombstones, you would slide them into the bases and then place your tombstones in the graveyard. And then you can have a little more fun when you dig up a grave, because you pick up the grave to see, pick it up, and on the base you will see what is revealed. And so that is another way to play with our tombstone tokens, or monster tokens. Happy Halloween! Have fun trick-or-treating, but beware the Banshee.